Howdy, Evil Bard here. Welcome. If you're just going to join in and hang out and just kind of working on the map a little bit. Probably going to go ahead and remove the top portion of that. Just so because it, well, doesn't fit correctly in here. It extends beyond the outside of the building. So get the floor with the dancers and that kind of stuff. You can change the delay on the money dropping, but I could dance along with them. All right, so that's the club. It's well under construction. This is most likely going to be the movie theater. These are floors and walls that are from the heist pack. So, just kind of laying out the footprint of some of these buildings. I may change the dimensions of this. I may push the entrance back and then have two smaller rooms right over here, or concessions here and tickets or whatever over here. And then a hallway that leads to, like, say, a door over here that opens up. I mean, these walls are just temporary, just to kind of get a feel for the footprint of the building. Just kind of want to have the grass around the edge and the sidewalk and so forth. But with the sound attenuation of the club, you can just start to hear when you get a little close to it, but you get away from there and you don't hear the music. So, yeah, that's just something. So yeah, I'm going to try to lay out the theater system. I still haven't worked out all the kinks in the fact that whenever I'm streaming a YouTube video into the project, it's just not working. It works. I can put a video in there. It's not a problem. But the problem comes from no sound attenuation. So any videos that I put in here are going to have to be saved as an MP4 format and done as a media, and do it that way. I do have a television set up, and the only video that I've got playing on it right now is one that's a music video that's actually from YouTube that's copyrighted, so I don't want to get a copyright bullshit thing just for playing a music video that I use while I'm doing my own stuff. But looking at the overall footprint, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do to lay this building out. I want this to be the overall footprint of this building. It's 5x5. And if you look, I'm basing that off of the normal tiles for streets and roads and stuff are 500 by 500 tiles. So 5 of those times 5 is, you know, you got your dimensions there. So it's 500. So it's 2500 by 2500. But using the files, I just the tiles here, I just consider it to be 5x5. Like I said, I might put interior walls, and I like the fact that the heist stuff is 500 as well, but I wanted to use more of the town stuff, and they're not exactly the same scale. If I go in here and grab some of the building components and walls and so forth, I'd like to use them for the interior to kind of break up the normal stuff from that. But if I grab house interior wall, you can see it's two-sided, but if you look at the actual size, it's 250, so it's half. So I'd end up having to use twice as many as opposed to the normal from the heist pack being 500. I mean, it's not bad, but as you can see, the ceilings don't line up as well either. So I'm going to end up having to, if I want to use these, you notice that there's a thickness to the wall, which is good, but then you got to put on end caps to block them off if they just terminate. And trying to get them to line up, you know, this is where that one is. I shouldn't have compiled the lighting yet, because if I don't compile lighting, then I can see better. I can still see a grid, but it's easier whenever you don't have a grid, you know, don't have the the material's actually applied yet, or lighting done. So you come in, you do at least have that. But one of the other things I noticed whenever I was using these things is when you do a lighting build, they don't exactly... You see edge lines still whenever you do the lighting build. But I would like to use these just for the interior portion of, say, this movie theater. But I still want a, like I said, this probably end up being the area for concessions. So, and that's just a thought so far. While I'm working on this stuff, if anybody has any questions about anything, just go ahead and shoot them to me. Because, so this is just kind of messing around. You know, hell, I even thought about the idea of just sticking to, like, these guys. And they're fine for a lot of stuff. And I'm going to use them. Like this. Set this up as a, you know, like a, I don't know. It's already set up as a good interior. They overlap the grass a little bit, so, you know, it's one of those things where you're trying to line them up on the grids. You can see whenever I go to 2200 here, yeah, it doesn't exactly line up perfectly. So you're at 2190 right there. If you put it at 2200, try to get even, you end up with gaps. So minor inconvenience, but to get them to line up to the edge there, that's pretty much what you got to do there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to overlap a little bit. And then I'm gonna have to find something to put in here. Probably gonna use like a regular ground tile of like concrete or something like that. Yeah, I did the video earlier on doing the television and getting it working, and what I'm gonna end up doing is just either getting some pre-made videos from somewhere to put in, or making some short videos that are just going to be for in-game. At some point I can actually use them as let's go to environment, probably there. Could be anything from advertising to whatever. You know, maybe talking about upcoming patches or features or whatever. It's a good way to announce things in game. Let's see. I don't normally stream while I'm doing map stuff because it can be a bit on the boring side. It's not as cool as doing the features. You see, that's what's really screwed up here, is unless you overlap quite a bit, yeah, these just don't line up. And so you got that overlap. Then you end up having to give up and overlap onto the grass more, so you don't have extra tiles that you don't need. But yeah, good enough. And this could be set up as a restaurant, a store, whatever you want it to be. I mean, I'd probably set this up as a small restaurant, and I need to actually work on some of the other features, like the hunger system, thirst system, and food and drink, med kits, things like that, which is not a bad thing to do. Is in fact, let's go ahead and save all, save selected. I'll do a quick lighting build, and I think that's what I'll do, because you know, if I sit here and do just maps, then honestly it's gonna, anybody who would normally join me would get bored out of their frickin' mind. Yeah, this is being Veterans Day, the observed Veterans Day. Actually, yesterday was Veterans Day. And this is one of the few holidays that I actually observe. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll set up the med kits, and I've already got the basics started for doing a shooting system. I don't really want players shooting while they're in town, but shit, I see a little bit of overlap right there. Shit, so I'm gonna have to, as soon as I get done, well, I can just cancel this lighting build and do it again. That sucks. I hate doing half of a lighting build, stopping it and starting it again. But you know, with this, I want the hunger system to work, thirst, and it's just going to be temporary bars right now, temporary progress bars. So I'll go into the player character and I'll set up hunger, I'll set up thirst, and I'll go ahead and give them values, and then I'll go ahead and edit the widget for the player HUD so that they're in there. So this won't take but a minute to finish this lighting build. But with that, we'll need to do like the vendors. You'd be able to come over and buy food from a vendor at some point. Creating a vendor, creating the menu system for browsing the menu for the actual vendor. It's like going into a restaurant, sit down, and I would imagine you could set it up to where when you sit down in a chair, then you actually can order at that point. You get the option while sitting to actually, I don't know, bring up a widget that actually has the menu items, and then if you purchase them, they'll go into your inventory. But then you got to have a money system, so that's something else gonna have to be set up. And then the save game. Sorry, taking my shoes off. Yay, lighting build complete. Yeah, some of the stuff from the town pack, just they don't really impress me on the lighting build. MP4. If you're doing like I showed in the last video, Unreal Engine 4 really likes the MP4 format. Shit, there's a light leak right there too. So if you're gonna do a video, I would say stick with the MP4. Kind of get away with this music because this is royalty-free music. So I've also got it set up to where when you're inside here, you can't actually do the regular emote-based one, where you yourself make it ring. No worries. I still haven't done anything with that yet. That was whenever I was bored trying to make something. So yeah, that was not that I plan on adding a flying mode or anything in here, but that was just screwing around with the animation and whatnot. So let's actually look at doing, and I'm pretty sure it's not in here, the med kit that I want. I think, no, the med kit that I want is actually from the heist pack. And so that's probably the one that I'm going to use, just because I like the way that one looks. Going to items. I've actually got images of all of the masks that are in this pack right here, so that whenever you, and I actually had a vendor set up at one point where you could go and buy the masks and wear them. But yeah, that's all. Yeah, I had to make a map just for displaying all of them individually. Bring one in, take a screenshot, you know, and go from there. But this is the med kit that I want to use. I like the way it looks. It's clean, plain, simple. The the Battle Royale pack has like bandages and things like that too, but I'm just going to stick with that for right now. So let's go to assets and let's close out that and go to gadgets. Yeah, this is the TV. This is all that's in there for the actual television itself. Is just the television, which is the static mesh. You have a plane, which is just it's a plane, it's a primitive, and then you get the media sound component. And I need to move it around a little bit because I've got it set for square. I'm just kind of screwing around with the attenuation style. And when you do set that up, you can actually move it around so that the attenuation, you can adjust it in there. But that's it. Off of event begin play, you just and to get the media player, all you're doing is you're creating a variable, and when you create the variable, you type in the variable type of media player, and you just get object reference to it. And I replicated it. I don't think it really mattered because it did work in replication. I actually did 3-player and brought in all 3, sat them in front of the television, and they all could see the TV just fine. But that's it. I mean, that video, I tried to keep it nice and short and sweet and to the point where you could look at it and like, oh, okay, that's how that works. So let's create blueprint, Ector, med kit. Open that and go back to my items. Select the med kit. Add component. I'm going to just rename it medkit. And click off. Add another component. A box collision. And yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the medkit up. That way it's off the ground. And I don't know why, but I still like the idea of having rotating med kits. So I'll pick, that right there. I'm going to make sure that no collision, so you can walk through it. And then box collision, big enough. Dump you guys. On component begin overlap and on component end overlap. And this is an easy enough system here. Gcast 2 player _ base. Yeah, this has been a nice, quiet, rainy day. Started off the day just, you know what? I went to bed early last night. Early for me, like 2 o'clock in the morning, but still. But yeah, woke up early. Had a nice cup of coffee. Just kind of eased into my day. I was like, you know what? I'm making chicken soup. So I made some homemade chicken soup. And it's quite good. I need my player. Let's see here. I gotta categorize all those things. Player stats, health. It's good. Don't really need my player open. Just what I'm trying to do is come up with a method here, and we'll get health. And what we want to do is check to see if our health is less than 100, less than our max health. So if we're 100% health, then we have no reason to pick up a med kit. So we just do nothing at that point. So we'll get is less than 100. Keep it simple. Throw a branch on it. try to create a more complex one where you could adjust the value of it once you actually place it into the map. What are you want? Yeah, sorry. Still getting used to the new phone. I haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, we're gonna check to see if our health is. Oh, I got that. I don't really need that. To get, see if our health is less than 100. If it's less than 100, then we'll set the player's health to health plus whatever value we get. And I'm just going to create a variable, heal amount, and we'll make that a float as well. In case I decide to upgrade it later, I need to have the variables. And how much I want to heal, let's give it a 25. So now when we get our med kit, it's going to be 25. So all we want to do here is I'm going to get another reference to my health. Not that I really need it, but I'm going to get health, and I want to set health. I like when variables actually, let me use one hand to type everything in. Not that my other hand's busy, but I can be using the mouse and that kind of stuff. So what we want to do is get our health and health plus. So we float plus float. We get our heal amount, plug it in there. So we're going to set our health to our current health plus the heal amount. But we do need to make sure that we have in our heal or health check system. I need to reorganize this one like I did with the other ones. Make them nice and neat and organized. Let's see here. That's a view change. That's dancing and chairs and all that cha-cha crap there. Since I haven't put death in here yet, the player can't actually die. So I don't think I've done a health check system yet. I got my begin play stuff. Yeah, I haven't put any damage handlers in here yet. Huh. Okay. That's crosshair stuff. Make sure you put that up here with the view chain stuff, because it's set up to where whenever you're in game, for me as a test bed, I can go into first person view and use a line trace, and I can get, okay, that's concrete base, that's shop 0. It's letting me check collisions, making sure that I'm hitting things that I'm supposed to be hitting and collisions are working correctly. And it's just what I call my tattletale device. I set it to have a really short range. It's not meant to be a weapon yet, so it's just allowing me to check actors and hits and that kind of stuff. So I guess well, we'll go ahead and put the functionality in here, because it's just as easy. We're already into the player's health system. So what we need to do here is now get this, and we want to check to see if our health is greater than 100. And if so, we'll run that branch. We'll just go ahead and plug in this functionality here. So we'll have to make it deal with that for now, because I don't have my damage handlers and things like that. And just get a set health. Plug it in here, and we'll just put that at 100. But with a health check system, what I'm wanting to do with the health check is to actually say, okay, whenever you're setting your health or you're checking your health, and that I run off an event tick. I hate running anything off an event tick if I don't have to, And like with the shooter demo that I'm working on, a lot of my stuff has actually been taken out of the event ticks to make sure things go smoother. But we'll let the med kits deal with, if we need the med kit, it'll let us pick it up. If we don't, we can't pick it up. And then at that point, we need to do something to make this thing go away. So I'm going to get a reference to my med kit, and I'm going to set visibility and make it invisible. And need to go ahead and get a reference to my box collision. And remember what was the most effective way of doing this? I don't remember if deactivate was the best way of doing it or not. So we need to turn off the ability to pick it up, because what will happen is if we don't, we can just sit there and just keep walking back and forth over the spot where they're supposed to be and just keep getting it. So we'll give a delay, and we'll make that about 10 seconds for now. In fact, let's leave that at 0 and create a variable for that. Respawner, keep it afloat, and we'll set it to 10 here. And now we can plug that into here. May not be necessary, but we want to create another way of coming back in and changing the system. Just click on that, bang, change the timer for how long it takes for it to come back once it despawns. So grab this stuff, Control C and Control V to paste that in there, as if you didn't know how to copy and paste, but still. I have no idea, but why I still feel the need to do that. I say Control C, Control V. So we'll try it with deactivate and activate. I don't remember if that was actually the best way to make it deactivate or stop using the box collision. But I also need to change maps because I don't want Garbo there. Let's see, save all. We'll go to the lobby map because I'll show you my test map. As you can see, got 3 chairs there. They all properly replicate and everything. And if you know who that is, it's on that screen there. That's what's actually playing on the TV. So you actually have 3 monitors, kind of like the way my computer's set up. But whenever you hit begin play, this is the music video from Disturbed, Sound of Silence. Badass freaking song. But I've got it in here, so as soon as I begin play, it will actually, yeah, we don't want that to happen. Don't want no copyright shite. So we'll just come in here and I'll quickly try to knock out a pain causer. Actor, we'll call it pain pad. And we're going to add a cube. Set it to 0.1. Add a box collision. And resize it to 1.5 by 1.5. So it covers enough of the cube. And don't need yo asses. On component begin overlap. 1, 2. Go to our player, our cast to him. And we want to apply damage. And let's apply 50. I'm not worried about this replicating. I just want something to go in here and test for applying damage. So if I go in here and play, walk over, and it didn't do it. But I want it to actually cause damage. So damage causer, get a reference to self. Damage actor is fine. Damage causer might be good, but might have to come back off of the event instigator. Now, do I have this properly set up on the player HUD? And let's go to the graph. Nope, designer. And actually, we do need the graph and get player health. Yeah, it's properly set up in here. On component begin overlap, damage actor 50. Get a reference self off the damage causer, or do I want it off the instigator? Guess I could have put this closer. Alright, well, let's see what the hell's going on here. Yep, it's actually working. So let's actually move this closer. Instead of running back and forth and back and forth. So yeah, that's closer to the spawn. So it does say hello whenever I do that. So let's dump that, and then so you can print text. Throwing that in there allows me to actually get instant feedback to know that it's going through that area. So it's something in this. Alright, so we're going to have to go back to the player. That should be working. And let's go ahead and event any damage and start putting together my health check system. So what I want to do is, at that point, get a reference to my health, and I want to subtract float minus float, and we'll get that. So whenever we step over it, it should apply damage, and then this should actually say, oh, you just took damage, and know how to handle it. So now I just want to come back in here and set health to this new value. And then I'll build my rest of my health check system off of this, so I don't actually have to run an event tick. So that should be a good enough handler. Yeah, see, that did it right there. So now 2 hits will kill me. Go to my med kit, go to my heal amount. It's 25. Pain pad. It's actually doing it twice. It took off 50 health. Well, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to cause damage and get to that point. So that's good enough. And with this, we can actually run a health check system off of this, which won't take but just a moment. So we're getting this right here, and then when we get damage, we can now, this is our health amount, so we can actually draw a reference from here. And let's see if our float is equal to or less than 0. Run that branch. We need a new variable called isDead. And isDead question mark. And let's put that in player stats. Lovely. If our health is less than or equal to 0, then set isDead to true. It's not going to do anything right now, but at some point, that's going to trigger our animations. The hell is everybody? So that's our health check, checking to see if we're dead or not. At that point, let's go ahead and just run a branch, and let's ask if our let's see here. See if our health is greater than 100. Even though the med kit's going to help solve that issue, we shouldn't have that problem. But if we have any other triggers that heal us, then we need to make sure that we're not going over top of 100. So you can just come back. So if our health is greater than 100, then set health to 100. Simple enough. I mean, and that's just going to get us into our death handler and everything else. So now our pain pad, whenever we come over here, and there we go. We can apply damage. It's good enough. And our med kit. Now, let's go ahead and drop one in there and see what it's doing and what else we might need to do to it. And I forgot the magic. There, now it spins. So that's that, and it healed us and did not go away. So actually, we don't need this. There. That needs to be off of. You guys let me do that too. What we're doing is we're checking here. Is our health less than 100? Or is our health, yeah, less than 100? If true, do all that. And that we can actually take out for now. We'll put that back in. But we need this to actually trigger these events. Yeah, I know the video title suggested that I was going to be doing boring stuff like making maps. Just see who actually pops in and see what the hell's going on. Actually doing useful stuff. Alright, let's see if that works. Because that was the way I had it set there. It was also verifying other stuff in line. So there it disappears. And I can't pick it up because it's not there anymore. And, well, yeah, I can. So let's go ahead and get dead. Picked it up, and yeah, deactivate's not doing it. Let's see here. Set collision enabled. And actually this should work better because this one actually replicates. So if you're setting up something where you want to disable collisions and you want it replicating, then you'll do that. Get out of the damn way. You know, doing activate and deactivate, which works on some things, it just doesn't work on replication. So set collision, or learn how to spell. So the first time we pass over it and we get it, it disables collision so that we can't pick it up until it's ready again. And we're just going to turn collision back on there. So, ouch, we need health, so we grab it, run back and forth through where it was, and it doesn't work. Oh no, we can't get it. So we'll wait for the respawn timer to come up at 10 seconds. Then we pick it up again. And then we wait for it, and that's good. To be silly, we could have gone in here and thrown in a... Well, we still need to do the other part that we just got rid of. So put that branch back in here and move it down. So we've already established here that we need the med kit, so we're going to get it. But if our health is not less than 100, then we need to... Yeah, if it's not less than 100, let's just go ahead and pull from this right here. It's set our health, and we'll get float to see if it is greater than 100. Because if it's greater than 100, we don't need to have over 100 on our health. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in here. If it's greater than 100, then we need to set health to 100. Even though we already have that in our health check setup, we still need to have it in here because the med kit is not causing damage. It's actually removing damage, so to speak. So we just need to make sure that we don't go over 100 on our healing. So if we come over here and now we're dead, other stuff will happen. But if we're not dead, then... And see, I just killed the damn thing again. Let's see here. Get damage. We healed 25. Wait for it to come back, and then we'll heal it again. We know that it's working. We can actually put this just about anywhere, but let's actually run it after this point, because I can run it off of true and false, and that's what I did before, is I didn't have it set up correctly. So let's just go ahead and drag this cripple out of the way. Just want to make sure I got plenty of room. So I'm just going to move this branch back up here. So we've already set our health and it's there. So we're going to check now to see if it's greater than 100. If true, we go there. And if at this point, you know, we're going to go back to here. Set our health to 100 one way or the other. But at this point, we're done healing. We're asking if our health is less than 100, so we can heal. We do our heal, and then once we do our heal, we ask, are we greater than 100? If so, then set it to 100. And I would imagine at this point, both of these need to go to there. Because whether we're, you know, checking that or not, we need to still get past there. When trying to get rid of the event ticks, you got to keep adding more and more and more and more things in. Whenever you process a single event, like, okay, I'm going to be healing. So I am full health now. Whenever this respawns, it should not let me get it. And I should test it and throw in a print text and get the health variable. You see, I don't need it, so I can't pick it up. Oh, okay. So it's working. Medkit are done. Let's see. Got a pain pad. We got that. And if I was setting up a shooting system, I mean, I've already got the basics already in here. So I go to first person view, and whenever I shoot or a left mouse click, it'll actually report back. And since there is no collision on that health kit, that's why it's actually not doing anything. It's not coming back as it hitting an actor. It's because it has no collision. That way you can walk through it to get it instead of running into it. If you didn't, then what would happen is you could stand here and the rotating movement would spin you around with it. Although it's fun, which reminds me, somebody asked me about setting up the little merry-go-round in Polygon Town. So let me actually look at that real quick and go into Polygon Town. Let's actually, I need to go ahead and make the blueprint for it. Merry go round. I would assume that's what it's supposed to be called. I wouldn't know what else that kid's toy thingy would be called. It's a little thing you get on, you kick it and spin and turn in circles, and the really weak kids throw up on it, and it's like a centrifugal force, and the puke gets everywhere, and yeah. Do basketball court. Alright, you want to have some fun? Make a working basketball system. Right there. They're called Playground Roundabout. Okay. Well, add component. That. It has a nice little square base on the bottom of it. And all I'm going to do is just add a rotating movement. Compile and save. And then I'll see what I can do to add some functionality to it. Go to gadgets. Throw it into the map. And see, it turns. And you can get on it. And you can throw up violently if you want to. And you get back off. Well, okay. So, what can we do with it? Can we, I've never tried to. I'm just going to get rid of these things. If I need one, I'll pull them back up. Get the rotating movement. I've never messed with it before other than just throwing it on there and then setting the rotation rate. And you could set up like a variable rate system, but we know that we want the Z value. Z value is going to be spinning in the correct direction, but let's set the initial rotation rate to 0. And that's not moving at all. Okay. And let's set it to where if the player gets on it, it causes it to come on, and when the player gets off, it turns off. Sounds easy enough. Because you can't just let it be spinning all the frickin' time. That would just be stupid, right? So let's add a component of a box collision, and let's call it trigger. Go right here, event on component begin overlap and end overlap. Let's actually look at our trigger box. And yeah, let's make it to where it covers as much of it as I can without exceeding outside the area. Because it goes to like right there and right there. So you've got overlapping areas where the player could be standing next to it and it would still activate. And it's maybe not necessarily a bad thing, but we'll see how that looks whenever we actually get in here and play around with it. So Now, if the player hops on here, we want it to cast to player underscore. So, thinking about this and the basic system of when you step on something, it starts rotating, or you step on a trigger and it causes something to start rotating. Yeah, I know. I grabbed that in the wrong spot. Just go away. Alright, so with that, there we go. Rotating movement, grab you, throw you in there, and we want to set rotation rate. So when a player steps on it, we want it to go a certain speed, and then when we get off, we want it to go back to 0. So plug you in there. And our rotation rate, 0 on that one. It was 180 before. Let's try it at 200 and see how the hell that looks. So hop in here and play. And that's cool, right? Oh, that's fast. It just stops dead cold as soon as you yeah, as soon as you're in that collision area, it's gonna spin and it gets weird. So I'll probably say, first off, let's actually change the speed down to 100, make it slower. And let's look at the trigger box. Let's make it smaller. Helps get the right transform tool. It'd be nice if you can actually get like a capsule collision and shrink it down and make it large enough for a sphere collision and do it that way, but I think that's going to be good enough. There are areas that if you're on it, it's not going to work, but, you know, I'd rather have it that way so you can't just sit there next to it. It seems to get glitchy whenever you do that. So you can actually change the speed, make it even slower. Drop it down to 50. You can also set it up, and since this is a rotator, you could actually break the Z, and then it becomes a float, and then you can do a random float, and actually say, okay, when I get on it this time, it's nice and slow. The next time I get on it, it's 200 miles an hour, or 500, or 6,000. So with that, you could actually, I'm just going to grab a reference to the rotator right here, and break rotator, and you get the Z. And that's what you want, is the Z on here. And since it's a float, you can actually set that speed. So let's actually, shits and grins, let's do that. So let's make rotator, and by doing it this way, we can actually directly put in there what we want for this, and dump you right into there, and that's perfect. And let's go ahead and from the Z, let's go ahead and random float in range, and that range, let's go ahead and set it from 50 to fuck it. Excuse me, to 500. That's really damn fast. So now we don't know how fast it's going to be until we actually get on there. Holy shit. And you can get off of it. Okay. Hop back on. A little bit slower this time. Hop back on again. Let's drop that down to 180, which was the normal max of what it was before. So now we have a variable speed merry-go-round that's activated by the player. Of course, it's going to be activated by the server because I haven't done any replication on it. Don't see where that's really that important, but shits and grins, let's just see what happens if we add a second player and new editor window. So what happens if the client comes on here? It works, and here's the server. So the server comes over here, and steps on the pane pad. Yeah, see, that's where the problem comes into, is the server's drawing it at one speed, the client's drawing it at another speed. So skip. Shit, I didn't mean to stop it. So let's drag the client to right here, and I hate doing this because of the views, but let's actually take the server, put the server on first, and we can see it's turning at this speed. The client comes over and hops on. You see how the server is rotating around him? It says that the client and the server is not rotating at the same speed. I mean, if I just came in here and broke that and just set that at 180, then it should be fine for replication. So client comes over here and gets on. That's 180. It's a little on the fast side. And then the server comes in and gets on. You can see how they're pretty much staying together. There's some little wishy-washiness, but since the speed is a constant, it's going to be that way. And if you want to have it to where whoever initiated it, it's not worth doing all that for replication-wise. So I would just set it at a fixed speed and not worry about trying to get fancy. If it was a single-player game, yeah, go ahead. But for multiplayer, it's just not worth the effort to replicate the merry-go-round speed whenever you can just set it at, like 50 and be done with it. So whenever you get off, it actually goes back down to 0. One thing I would like to look at too is if there's a way to actually step that down. Whenever you get off, step it down to 0 so it doesn't just come to a complete stop. So there, client comes over, hops on. Server comes over and hops on. At a lower speed, it should resist some of the glitchiness. So you can see they look pretty stable between each other. So that's cool. So it replicates. Nothing special needed because it's just, that. Well, you see what I'm saying is whenever you get off, it's just 0, 50, 0, 50. So I might look into if I don't want to spend a hell of a lot of time on a frickin' merry-go-round that's going to be sitting in someone's backyard. So if I actually go to, let's save all. Skippy, that was for you, by the way, for asking. Let us go to their town map. And it was in backyard. Which backyard? It was in this backyard right over here. And now I've got a trampoline that works, and we got a merry-go-round that works. Let's go back to our gadgets. Dump you, and let's throw you in. And now if we hit play, I'm going to have to bypass that house right there because I got that TV set up in it. And yeah, I don't want that sound to play right now. Yeah, dude, you should have watched where you're going there. Right-click play from here is a wonderful thing. You should probably do that more often. So you got soccer ball, you can kick the ball around. You can whoop, hop on the merry-go-round and play on a trampoline. Okay. Enough dumb shit for one day. I'm gonna take a break for a little bit and talk to my team and chill out. This is, like I said, this is Veterans Day. It's a day for me to like chill out. So thanks for guys for whoever stopped in and watched whatever I was doing. Have a good one.